When we think about organizing our homes in our golden years, we often focus on clearing out old paperwork, unused kitchen gadgets, or forgotten items in the garage. But there's one area that deserves special attention yet rarely gets it: our closets. If you're over 70, the clothes hanging in your wardrobe aren't just fabric and thread. They're memories, identities, and sometimes emotional anchors to versions of yourself that no longer exist. And while nostalgia has its place, holding on to clothes that no longer serve you can quietly drain your energy, clutter your mental space, and even impact your physical comfort and self-esteem. This isn't about following fashion trends or conforming to someone else's idea of how you should dress. This is about creating a wardrobe that honors who you are right now, comfortable, confident, and free from the weight of the past. Research consistently shows that our physical environment directly impacts our mental well-being. Clutter creates cognitive overload, decision fatigue, and subtle but persistent stress. When your closet is filled with clothes that don't fit, don't suit your current lifestyle, or carry painful memories, getting dressed each morning becomes an unconscious reminder of loss, change, or inadequacy. But it doesn't have to be that way. Today, we're going to walk through 6 specific types of clothes you should consider removing from your closet after 70. Not because you're too old for them, but because letting them go will make room for comfort, clarity, and a renewed sense of self-respect. This is an act of kindness toward yourself. Let's begin. Let's start with the most common issue: clothes that no longer fit the way they once did. Our bodies change throughout life. This is not failure, it's biology. Metabolism shifts, muscle composition changes, posture adjusts, and body shape naturally evolves. The body you have at 75 is different from the body you had at 55 or 35, and that's perfectly normal. Yet many of us keep clothes from decades past, telling ourselves we'll fit into them again someday. That someday creates a subtle but persistent emotional pressure. Every time you see those jeans from 20 years ago, you're reminded that your body has changed. Instead of acceptance, you feel disappointment. Instead of peace, you feel guilt. These ill-fitting clothes serve as daily reminders of a younger body, creating an undercurrent of inadequacy that affects your confidence and mood. When you try them on and they don't fit, you feel defeated. When you skip over them in your closet, you feel a twinge of sadness or shame. Here's what you need to understand. Comfort equals confidence. When you wear clothes that fit your current body, well, not too tight, not too loose, but just right, you move through the world differently. Your posture improves, your energy lifts, you feel like yourself. Clothes that are too tight restrict movement and breathing, creating physical discomfort that translates into emotional unease. Clothes that are too loose can make you feel shapeless and invisible, as though you're trying to disappear into fabric. Take an honest inventory of your wardrobe. Try things on, really try them on, not just hold them up and imagine. If something doesn't fit comfortably, doesn't make you feel good, or requires constant adjusting, it's time to let it go. Replace these items with clothes that honor your current body. Look for soft, breathable fabrics that move with you. Choose relaxed fits that provide comfort without sacrificing style. Select colors that brighten your complexion and lift your mood. This isn't about giving up or settling. It's about respecting yourself enough to dress the body you have today with kindness and dignity. One woman I know, Margaret, held on to a favorite dress from her 50s for nearly 30 years. It hung in her closet as a beautiful reminder of who she used to be, but also as a painful reminder that she'd never fit into it again. When she finally donated it, she described feeling an unexpected sense of relief. "I realized I'd been carrying that dress like a burden," she said. "Letting it go felt like permission to be happy with who I am now." That's the gift of releasing ill-fitting clothes. Permission to be fully present in your current life. This one might seem small, but it's surprisingly significant: worn-out underwear and undergarments. Most of us don't think much about our undergarments. They're hidden beneath other clothes, so we assume they don't matter as much. But they're actually the foundation of everything you wear, and more importantly, they're the first layer of contact with your body. Many seniors keep underwear, bras, and undershirts far longer than recommended. Elastic weakens and loses support, Fabric thins and becomes less protective. Colors fade and materials break down. What once provided comfort and support now offers neither. Old undergarments affect you in several ways. Physical comfort. Worn-out elastic means waistbands that slip or dig in. Stretched-out bras provide no support, affecting posture and potentially causing back or shoulder pain. Thinned fabric offers less protection and can cause chafing or irritation. Even with regular washing, old undergarments harbor bacteria and odors more readily than new ones. The breakdown of fabric fibers creates microscopic spaces where bacteria can persist, potentially contributing to skin irritation or infections. Psychological impact. This might sound minor, but there's surprising psychological research showing that what we wear underneath affects how we feel, even when no one else sees it. Fresh, well-fitting undergarments provide a subtle but powerful boost to mood and self-esteem. They're an act of self-care that says, I matter. I'm worth taking care of. Think about it. You wouldn't serve yourself a meal on a chipped, stained plate, even if guests weren't coming. You deserve the same consideration you'd give others. What to do instead? Assess your undergarments honestly. If elastic has lost its stretch, if fabric has thinned or developed holes, if colors have faded to dingy grey, it's time for replacement. Invest in quality undergarments designed for comfort and support. Look for soft, breathable materials like cotton or moisture-wicking fabrics. For women, properly fitted bras provide crucial support and can significantly improve comfort and posture. For men, underwear with proper support and non-binding waistbands makes a noticeable difference in daily comfort. One gentleman, Robert, aged 74, mentioned that he'd been wearing the same underwear for over a decade. They were fine, he said. They still covered what they needed to cover. But when he finally replaced them with new, properly fitting underwear designed for seniors, he was stunned by the difference. I didn't realize how uncomfortable I'd been. The new ones actually support without squeezing. It sounds silly, but I feel better overall, more energetic, more comfortable in my own skin. It's not silly. It's self-respect in action. Now we move into more emotionally complex territory. Clothes that carry heavy memories. Perhaps it's the sweater your late spouse always loved seeing you wear, the shirt you wore to your son's funeral, the dress from a difficult period in your life, the outfit you wore on a trip that ended in heartbreak. These garments become repositories of emotion. Every time you see them, you're transported back to those moments, and not always in a healing way. They can trap you in grief, guilt, or sadness, preventing you from fully experiencing present joy. This is emotional clutter, and it's just as real as physical clutter. It weighs on your mind and heart, creating an undercurrent of heaviness you may not even consciously recognize. Holding on to clothes tied to painful memories or lost loved ones is understandable. It feels like letting go of the memory itself, of the person, of that chapter of your life. But here's the truth. Memories live in your heart, not in fabric. The love you shared with someone isn't contained in a sweater. The experiences you had aren't erased when you donate the clothes you wore during them. In fact, releasing these items can be an act of healing. It creates space, physical and emotional, for new experiences, new joy and new peace. What to do instead? Identify clothes that trigger difficult emotions. When you look at them, how do you feel? If the predominant emotion is sadness, guilt, or pain, rather than warm nostalgia, it may be time to let them go. This doesn't mean you're forgetting or disrespecting the memory. It means you're choosing to honor it without being bound by it. You're giving yourself permission to move forward while carrying the love and lessons with you. If you're not ready to let go completely, consider taking a photo of the item before donating it. Some people create memory books with photos of meaningful clothes, preserving the visual reminder without the physical burden. Others find closure in explicitly thanking the item for what it represented before releasing it. Ellen, age 79, kept her late husband's favorite sweater for 8 years after he passed. She couldn't wear it, it was too large and masculine, but she couldn't donate it either. It sat in her closet, a daily reminder of loss. Finally, with the encouragement of her daughter, she decided to let it go. I realized I was keeping myself in grief by holding on to it, she said. When I finally donated it, I felt this weight lift. I still miss him terribly, but I'm not trapped in that missing anymore. I can remember the joy we had instead of just the loss. That's the gift of releasing emotionally weighted clothes, freedom to remember with love instead of pain. Let's talk about those suits, formal dresses, and work clothes hanging in the back of your closet. For many people, formal wear represents past professional identities, social roles, or life stages that are no longer relevant. You keep the suit from your working days, just in case. You hold on to the evening gown, even though you haven't attended a formal event in a decade. You maintain a collection of ties or dress shirts, even though your current lifestyle doesn't require them. These clothes occupy valuable closet space while serving no practical purpose. More significantly, they anchor you to past versions of yourself, making it harder to fully embrace your current life. There's often a hesitation to let go. What if I need it someday? But that someday rarely comes. And even if a formal occasion does arise, your old work suits or formal wear from decades past likely no longer fit properly, reflect current styles, or suit your present body and lifestyle. Keeping these items can create a subtle resistance to accepting your current life stage. They whisper, "Remember when you were needed at the office? Remember when you had important meetings? Remember when you had somewhere important to be?" Instead of celebrating the freedom of retirement, you're reminded of a role you no longer fill. What to do instead? Be honest about your current lifestyle. How often do you actually need formal wear? If you attend occasional events that require dressing up, keep one or two versatile, well-fitting options. Donate the rest. Consider that someone just starting their career, preparing for job interviews, or unable to afford professional clothing, could benefit tremendously from what's gathering dust in your closet. Your donation becomes their opportunity. Charles, age 81, kept an entire closet section filled with suits and ties from his decades as a high school teacher. Years into retirement, he never wore them, but he couldn't seem to let them go. He explained, "I was afraid that without them, I'd lose that identity." Finally, his granddaughter helped him donate them to a program that provides professional clothing to young people entering the workforce. Knowing they were helping someone else made it easier, he said. And honestly, my closet feels lighter, and so do I. I realized my value isn't in those suits. The wisdom and experience I gained are still with me. That's the insight. Your accomplishments, wisdom, and value transcend clothing. Letting go of outdated formal wear makes space for the life you're living now, not the one you used to live. We addressed this earlier, but it deserves deeper exploration because it's so emotionally charged. The clothes from when you were younger, thinner, or differently shaped often represent more than just physical change. They symbolize youth, vitality, and a version of yourself you feel you've lost. Holding on to them becomes a form of denial, a way of telling yourself that the change is temporary, that you'll return to normal. But this perspective creates suffering. It frames your current body as wrong, as something to fix or overcome. It prevents acceptance and self-compassion. Here's a different way to think about it. Your body has carried you through decades of life. It's raised children, worked countless hours, experienced joy and grief, weathered illnesses, and brought you to this moment. It deserves respect and kindness, not judgment. Wearing clothes that fit your current body isn't giving up. It's an act of profound self-acceptance. It's saying, this body, right now, is worthy of comfort and dignity. When you wear ill-fitting clothes, you're constantly reminded that your body has changed. You adjust waistbands, pull at fabric, feel restricted or uncomfortable. This creates a low-level but persistent discomfort that affects your mood, confidence, and how you present yourself to the world. What to do instead? Go through your closet with radical honesty and compassion. Try on clothes you haven't worn recently. If they don't fit comfortably right now, not when you lose 10 pounds, but right now, let them go. Replace them with clothes that fit well and make you feel good. This might mean investing in a few quality pieces rather than keeping a closet full of clothes you can't wear. Quality over quantity becomes increasingly important as we age. Choose fabrics that feel good against your skin. Prioritize comfort without sacrificing style. Find colors that brighten your face and lift your spirits. Most importantly, change your internal narrative. Instead of, I've let myself go, try, my body has lived a full life and deserves comfort. Instead of, I used to look better in clothes, try, I look dignified and confident in clothes that fit me well now. This mental shift is powerful. It transforms getting dressed from a daily reminder of loss into an act of self-care and self-respect. Finally, let's talk about clothes that represent past identities and life stages you've moved beyond. Maybe it's golf shirts from when you played regularly, before arthritis made it too difficult. Perhaps it's gardening clothes from when you maintained an extensive garden before you downsized to a smaller home. It could be hobby-related clothing, sewing smocks, woodworking aprons, hiking gear from activities you no longer pursue. These clothes serve as reminders of who you used to be and what you used to do. While nostalgia can be sweet, these items can also anchor you to the past and prevent you from fully embracing your present life and rhythms. Retirement and aging bring natural shifts in how we spend our time. Some activities become physically difficult. Others lose their appeal as priorities change. This isn't loss, it's evolution. But holding on to clothes from previous life stages can make it feel like loss, like you've left behind important parts of yourself. What to do instead? Acknowledge that letting go of these clothes doesn't erase the memories or diminish the value of those experiences. The years you spent playing golf weren't wasted because you no longer play. The joy you found in gardening doesn't disappear when you donate the gardening clothes. In fact, passing these items on, donating them to someone who will use them, gifting them to a younger family member taking up the same hobby, can feel like a beautiful passing of the torch. Your chapter with that activity has closed, but someone else's is beginning. This creates space in your closet and your life for what matters now. Maybe that's more comfortable loungewear for reading. Maybe it's clothes suitable for your current hobbies and interests. Maybe it's simply having less clutter and more breathing room. Robert, age 82, held onto his golf shirts for years after arthritis ended his playing days. I kept thinking maybe I'd get back out there, he said. But honestly, seeing those shirts just reminded me of what I couldn't do anymore. When he finally donated them to a youth golf program, something shifted. I felt free, he said, like I'd given myself permission to be who I am now, instead of holding on to who I used to be. That permission is the gift. Freedom to be fully present in your current life, unanchored to past versions of yourself. Decluttering your closet after 70 isn't about following rules or conforming to someone else's idea of how you should live. It's about creating physical and emotional space for peace, comfort, and self-respect. Every item you remove, whether it's ill-fitting clothes, worn-out undergarments, emotionally weighted pieces, outdated formal wear, or reminders of past life stages, makes room for clarity, confidence, and freedom. Getting dressed should be a simple, pleasant part of your day, not a source of stress or sadness. Your closet should contain only things that serve you now. Clothes that fit comfortably, reflect your current lifestyle, and make you feel good when you wear them. This process is an act of kindness toward yourself. It says, I deserve comfort. I deserve dignity. I deserve to live fully in the present, not trapped in the past. As you go through this decluttering journey, ask yourself one simple question for each item. Does this serve the person I am today? If the answer is no, if it doesn't fit, doesn't suit your lifestyle, carries painful memories, or anchors you to an outdated identity, thank it for what it represents and let it go. The freedom you'll feel is remarkable. A simplified wardrobe means easier mornings, less decision fatigue, and a closet that reflects and supports who you are right now. You've lived a full life. You've accumulated wisdom, experiences, and stories. None of that is contained in clothing. Let the clothes go and make space for the peace, joy, and comfort you deserve in these golden years. Your best days aren't behind you. They're happening right now.